Lawmakers in Maryland are proposing a bill where they would study the effects of a 4-day work week. Employees would be working 32 hours, but they would receive the same pay. And if companies choose to participate in the study, they could be eligible for a tax credit if the bill passes. They are not required to take part in this study. The bill was inspired by the results of a study from a nonprofit called 4-Day Week Global. And the study says that both companies and employees overwhelmingly supported a 4-day model. Americans are strongly supporting this plan. 92% of U.S. workers are in favor of this shortened work week. Maryland Delegate Vaughn Stewart sponsoring the bill. He joins us live tonight. Thank you so much for being here.
Great to be here. Thanks for having me.
I understand why workers would be in favor of this. Why are employers also behind a 4-day work week? What is the benefit?
Yeah, absolutely. That's a great question. So that study that you mentioned, which was done by the 4-Day Week Global Foundation, showed one obvious thing, or one thing that should be obvious to all of us, which is that employees really love this, right? So 97% of employees who participated in that study wanted it to continue. But what was truly stunning about the trial is that corporate executives and companies loved it just as much. They saw increased profits, they saw increased productivity, and the vast majority of them also said they wanted the trial to continue. And you hear from corporate CEOs who have permanently implemented a switch to a 4-day work week. And besides higher productivity from their employees and besides higher profits, they also report better retention and better recruitment. So I really think that this idea, while it may sound radical or utopian, is something that offers a real win-win possibility for both employers and employees.
Yeah, and people are now familiar with these sort of new phrases, quiet quitting and burnout, the great resignation. My question, what prevents those meetings and tasks that would have been done on day 5 from just being loaded into 4 days and even longer stretches of Zoom calls, et cetera, that would cause burnout and dissatisfaction?
Yeah, and I mean, it's a great question. So what we have to do, I mean, it's one possibility, right? One thing that we have seen from companies that have implemented this, and one thing that we've seen from these limited studies that have occurred in North America and Ireland and a few other countries, is that it was a uniformly positive experience for employees. But it's true, for some workers, there is a risk that what the doubt they harbor, the dread that they harbor on that Sunday night that they're about to go to work, that a lot of that would just remain, and maybe they would feel even more stressed. And so that's why we think there should be some more study to this. I think the results that have happened so far are extremely encouraging, but we think that a 5-year pilot program would be a reasonable period of time where we could provide these tax credits to companies. They would collect data, they would share that data with the state of Maryland, and then at the end of 5 years, we'd have this huge treasure trove of data to look through and see how successful or how unsuccessful the program really was. And that includes whether these benefits for employees really delivered, or maybe that, they were overhyped.
What is the timeline for this? I mean, you mentioned 5 years. How long will it take for researchers to decide if this will work? And then at what point can every single person in your state expect to be working a 4-day work week?
Yeah, that's a great question. So this bill, if it passed, it would pass in probably March or April of this year. The hearing is scheduled for February. The bill would go into effect on July 1. Companies could start signing up for this tax credit. We want them to work with the Department of Labor for some technical assistance to make sure that the transition is successful. Each company would be eligible to continue getting the tax credits and participate in the program for up to 2 years. But the pilot program itself would go 5 years until 2028. My hope is that the data that we get out of it, the study, the results that come out of this, would be an overwhelming endorsement of this idea. And if that were to be the case, I would hope that Maryland would take eventual additional legislative action in perhaps the, 2019 legislative session. So I don't think that Marylanders should be lining up and thinking that this is going to happen overnight. But I do think the time has come for this conversation. And I think the time has come to start looking at the future, envisioning a future with more free time.
All right, Maryland Delegate Vaughn Stewart, thank you so much for your time. Thank you for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.